Look at this map of 12th century northern India. You have a wealthy, sprawling region, but it's completely fractured into rival local kingdoms. And right next door, pushing in from the west, is the rapidly expanding, unified Ghorid Empire. When Prithviraj was born in 1166, court astrologers predicted the boy would grow to rule vast stretches of the earth, a prophecy that placed the future of the Chauhan dynasty squarely on his shoulders. His upbringing matched those expectations. Prithviraj underwent rigorous training, mastering multiple languages, mathematics, and military science. His most famous talent was a highly specialized archery technique called Shabdavedi Ban. He could hit a target perfectly while completely blindfolded, relying entirely on the sound it made. His physical strength matched his technical skill. While out hunting as a teenager, he was ambushed by a wild lion. Instead of retreating, he grabbed the animal barehanded and ripped its jaws apart, killing it on the spot. Feats like this circulated rapidly. Long before he was a king, Prithviraj had built a reputation as an elite martial artist, capable of bringing central stability to a chaotic era. That chaos arrived at his doorstep when he was just 11 years old. His father died, abruptly leaving Prithviraj in charge of the Ajmer throne. Seeing a child in power, his own relatives immediately tried to seize control. His cousin, Nagarjuna, led a direct military rebellion and captured a key fort. Prithviraj responded instantly. He marched a massive army to the fort at Gurupura, crushed the uprising, and had the severed heads of the rebels hung from the walls of his own citadel in Ajmer. With the internal threats eliminated, he secured his hold over Delhi, making it his second capital. Controlling this ancient center of power gave him a massive, unified base in northern India. By the time he was 14, Prithviraj had completely taken the reins of government. He crushed the local feudal instability and established himself as a hardened, centralizing authority. He spent the next few years relentlessly expanding his borders, deploying his Rajput forces to defeat regional powers like the Badankars and the Chandelas. But this aggressive expansion sparked a bitter political rivalry with King Jaichand of Kanauj. Both men were vying for supremacy in northern India, and Jaichand felt his own family had a rightful claim to Delhi. The political tension became deeply personal. Jaichand hosted a grand royal ceremony for his daughter, Sanyogita, to choose a husband, purposefully excluding Prithviraj to insult him. Prithviraj showed up anyway and eloped with Sanyogita right in front of the gathered kings. It is a famous romantic legend, but strategically, it was a disaster. Prithviraj permanently alienated the one major Indian ruler capable of forming a strong alliance against foreign invaders. That vulnerability was exposed in 1191. Muhammad Ghori, the ambitious ruler from the west, marched into India and seized the massive fort of Tabar Hind. Prithviraj had to respond. The two armies met at the Battle of Tarain. Look at this tactical layout. On one side, Ghori commanded highly mobile, light-step horse archers. On the other, Prithviraj deployed a traditional Rajput phalanx made of dense, heavy infantry and massive war elephants. Ghori opened the battle by refusing direct combat. He sent his archers to rain arrows down on the Rajput lines and quickly retreat, relying on speed to avoid taking damage. Prithviraj countered with brute force. He ordered an aggressive, overwhelming frontal charge. His elephants and infantry smashed straight through Ghori's fluid formations, causing mass panic. The fighting devolved into brutal melee. The Rajput commander Govind Rai clashed directly with Muhammad Ghori, severely injuring him. Seeing their leader nearly killed, the remaining Ghorid soldiers lost their morale and fled the field. Then Prithviraj made his choice. Under the strict Rajput code of honor, striking a fleeing enemy in the back is forbidden. He let Ghori escape with his life, an act of mercy modern historians refer to as the Prithviraj syndrome. A year later, Ghori returned. He brought a highly disciplined, reorganized army back to Tarain. Meanwhile, Prithviraj's forces were depleted, with many of his best commanders away on other military campaigns. Ghori knew he couldn't win a direct fight, so he offered a fake truce, claiming he needed time to consult his brother in Ghazni. The honorable Rajput army took him at his word and dropped their guard. It was a trap. Ghori divided his cavalry into small, fast units. Instead of charging, they endlessly provoked the heavy Rajput forces, kiting them across the battlefield to exhaust them without ever committing to a real melee. Ghori kept the Rajputs awake and chasing shadows all night. Then, at dawn, While Prithviraj's men were entirely disorganized and exhausted, Ghori launched a massive, decisive attack. The defeat at Tarain exposed the limits of the Rajput martial code when faced with an enemy that viewed traditional honor as a tactical weakness to be exploited. The historical reality of this defeat is stark. Ajmer and Delhi fell, marking the transition to the Delhi Sultanate and the beginning of a centuries-long era of sultanate rule in northern India. You can see this shift clearly in structures like the Qutub Minar, built right over the former Rajput capital city. But the culture refused to let Prithviraj die a captive. An epic poem called the Prithviraj Raso tells a very different story. In this legend, Ghori drags Prithviraj to Ghazni, tortures him, and blinds him with hot iron rods when the king refuses to bow. According to the epic, his court poet, Chand Bardai, hatches a plan for revenge. He challenges Ghori to witness the blind king's legendary archery skills. Right before the shot, the poet recites a specific verse outlining Ghori's exact position and distance. Prithviraj draws his bow, uses his childhood mastery of Shabd Bedi Ban to track the sound, and fires an arrow straight into Ghori's chest, killing him. Historical records show Muhammad Ghori actually died years later, in 1206. But this myth was culturally necessary. It allowed the local people to process the intense trauma of the sweeping invasion. Prithviraj Chauhan's adherence to a rigid code of honor cost him his empire. Yet that refusal to compromise in the face of capture is precisely why his story is still recited in the soil where he once ruled.